Good morning. How's everyone doing this morning?
Great.
Great to have you guys on. So we'll just wait another minute or so while a few more people kind of join in here. But
Sure.
I'm Jared Butts. I'm one of the mentors here at RGX. And again, we are really excited to get this going and have all of you guys on. Just kind of a little brief kind of overview of what we're going to do today is we're going to give you a little background, share some of our success stories, and then we definitely want to open it up for some questions from all of you, and ask us anything that you guys would like. So we're going to kind of go through a few little slides here and talk about who we are, what we do, what we've kind of seen, some results from some of our mentors and some other coaches down in your area even. And so that's kind of where we want to go. And at any time, if you guys have a question or anything, feel free to put it in the chat box and we'll go from there. But I think we go ahead and get started, Courtney.
Okay.
So I think that we're all on this because we all agree the power of coaching in our area at our facility is something that does a lot of things, not just for us, not just for our business, but for where we are and how it can drive more revenue to your club and your facility. And it can also get better results for your players than just the typical driving range one-on-one instruction and how those things kind of differ. So I think that we all are here because we agree the power of coaching does multiple things. Courtney, if you want to bring that up there, of some of the things that we really see in this program that you guys are going to get is how we can guarantee lower scores for your students. Not just, hey, you're going to have them come out continuously. How we can increase the member retention at your facility because they are in coaching programs. The PGA and everybody has done multiple studies that show that fact. And then why we are on this call and why we are going through what we call our results-based group coaching program is because it can help you double your hourly income without just raising your price twice as much. So how we can do that is what we're going to kind of answer throughout this. But I think this is where I'd love to turn it over to one of our other mentors, Dan Bubany, and have him kind of share some of our success stories.
Jared, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see everybody here. My journey was unique, or maybe not so unique, in that I was at a point in my career, I needed to get out of the golf shop and I needed to get out onto the golf course. I wanted to be a full-time golf coach. And I realized that my future, as I kind of came to that crossroads in my career, was not to necessarily become a head golf professional, but was to become more of a full-time coach or instructor. So I made this transition from the golf shop to the golf course. On October 1st of 2020, I became a full-time golf coach. And it didn't take me long to start to generate the revenue that I thought I was capable of generating if I was allowed a little bit more time and a little bit more freedom and a little bit more flexibility to coach my players and to actually satisfy the demand that there was for my services. In the first month alone, once I became an independent contractor and we were doing a 90-10 split with my facility, I brought in over $14,000. And I remember texting Jared and I texted Will a picture of the check that I was holding in my hands. And I'm like, guys, this is the biggest paycheck that I've ever held in my hands. And it used to be a television news anchor. It was like a real aha moment because it almost sounds too good to be true. You're like, what do you mean? Well, yeah, it's there. And that's exactly what happened. I was able to sell out all 44 spots in my program doing group coaching. So instead of coaching, one player for 1 hour, now I was able to coach 4 players in an hour. So I was able to increase my efficiency. I sold out my spots and my waiting list went from 30 people long, booked 3 weeks in advance, to over 100 people long. And I was booked 3 months in advance because I was doing coaching programs that ran typically 10 sessions over 12 weeks. So all of a sudden the urgency went through the roof because people went, wait a minute, you sold out all 44 spots and I can't see you again for 3 months. And I'm like, no. So the next time I come and see you and say, hey, you're on my list, I have an opening in this program, not when they wanted to do it, but when I told them I had the availability, it was up to them to jump through the life hoops that we jumped through. And I always use the example of compare it to, a doctor's office, right? You call your doctor, the expert in his or her field, you need to get an appointment. They go, well, we can see you in 6 months or in a year, your call. And what do? You flip the game board over, right? You rearrange your entire life just to be able to see that expert. Well, you're an expert in your field. Your field just happens to be golf. So let your players jump through the same life hoops that you would jump through, or you used to jump through for them, coming in on your days off to teach them. Let them jump through those life hoops in order to accommodate you and your wishes and your schedule. Courtney, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. The key lesson here, this is the power of on-course assessments, getting your players out on course. I think in our minds as pros, we build up these kind of fears or these objections. No one ever comes back and says, man, that was terrible. I'm never going to take lessons from you ever again. I hated being on the golf course with you. No, everybody goes, hey, that was great. When can we do that again? They just don't know it's an option available to them. So here's a perfect example of somebody who is kind of like me, but we're going to show you examples of industry professionals in different parts of the industry and how group coaching can work for you wherever you are in whatever amount of time you have, regardless of your other obligations or commitments. You can fit coaching into your schedule. So Kobe Waltz, perfect example, PGA member. He's a head coach, and he decided, look, I want to take this journey. I want to do this group coaching thing. So Courtney, go ahead and pull up that next slide if you don't mind. He increased his income by more than 20%. And this is what happens, right? The first step is we're going to get you to double your hourly rate. Okay, so if you're charging $120 an hour, you're going to charge $240 an hour. That's a very quick and easy way to double your hourly rate and earn more money. The nice thing is you're going to get to spend more time with your players. Your players are going to get to spend more time with you, but it's going to cost them less money because now if you're doing this in groups of 2, 3, 4, you're spreading out the cost of your hourly rate over 2, 3, or 4 players instead of just one-on-one. What Colby was able, what used to take Colby 4 hours to do, right? If he was doing 4 individual one-on-one 1-hour lessons, well, now he's able to do in 2.5. So automatically he's decreased his work hours at his facility and he's at least 40% more efficient. He's saving so much more time because he's now working with the same number of players in less time. And then the next thing was he was able to drop 100 plus strokes off of his players' games. This is guaranteed results-based group coaching. What do you want your legacy to be? How do you know if you're a good coach or not? Well, one of the ways to tell if you're a good coach or not is by the number of shots you've dropped off your players' games. Golf is measurable, right? When we go out there, we have a handicap or we shoot a score, we compare it to other people so we can see how we're doing in comparison to other people. Well, how are you doing in comparison to other coaches? How many of you even measure the number of shots that you drop off your players' games? Do you even know? That might be an opportunity down the road. So Courtney, if you want to go to the next slide. And what this resulted in for Colby was the Section Player Development Award in the Kentucky PGA section in 2020. Because it's not hard to paint a picture of how well you're developing your players' games if you can simply say, look, I took 100 shots off my players' games. This is measurable. Look what I did. Since I've been results-based group coaching, I've dropped 350 shots off my players' games and counting. And I'm not stopping until I get to 1,000 because that to me is really important. How good are you as a coach? Well, measure the number of shots you're taking off your players' games. Courtney, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. So that's a head coach example. But what if you're a general manager of a facility and you're like, geez, I just don't have a ton of time? Well, Jeff Hockman, he's a PGA member. He only had about 4 hours a week to coach. He's at Sun City Grand here in Arizona. His goal's to make more money, right? He wasn't making the money that he wanted to make, but he wanted to make more money in less time. He still wanted to have some work-life balance. And a lot of us get into that situation where we're working way too many hours. We're not making enough money. We're getting burned out. So Jeff wanted greater work-life balance, and he wanted to get better results for his players, but he only had 4 hours a week to do it. And this is where I said, we can make coaching fit into your schedule and around all of your other obligations. Coaching fits anywhere. Courtney, if you want to go to the next slide. Took Jeff 2 weeks to set out his coaching program. Didn't take him long. And then what did he do? He tripled his revenue. So Jeff's particular example, he was able to make an extra $20,000 just by coaching 4 hours a week. It sounds too good to be true, but if you think about it, if you only have 4 hours, right? You do 2-hour coaching programs. You can do 2 coaching programs a week, depending on what your ratio is. You can make some really good money in a very short period of time. And that's exactly what Jeff did. So the key lesson here for Jeff Hockman was the importance of community, right? This is a retirement community, Sun City Grand. And Jeff brought his players together. He helped foster connections. He became more of a part of his players' lives. He developed deeper, more meaningful, and more long-lasting relationships. And then what did he do? He put himself in groups so that he could actually hear what his members were saying and some of the suggestions that they had, things that maybe they wouldn't feel comfortable sharing in passing if they saw Jeff on the property. Well, now he was with them for 2 to 2.5 hours at a time. They were playing golf together. They felt more comfortable sharing stories about some of the things they were seeing and some of the suggestions they had. So very successful for Jeff. Not only the fact that he got to play more golf, he made more money, he got greater work-life balance, but he also got some inside information from these relationships that he was developing with his players. The next example that we're going to talk about is a director of golf, Rion, right? Another PGA member at Kiawiki. And so here's another example. We've done head coach, we've done general manager. What if you're a director of golf? I don't have time to be doing, group coaching. Well, Rion was in that same situation. He's got all these different golf courses that he's managing. He's the director of golf. He was a busy guy. So he realized that he had to be more efficient with his teaching time. He wanted to increase his hours coached so that he could earn more money. He could see the power of results-based group coaching and how much more efficient he would be. And then what he was able to do was double his revenue in 6 months. It didn't take long because he was so much more efficient. He was charging a little bit more money, but it was costing his players less, and he was guaranteeing results. It didn't take him long to start earning some more money. And then finally, and this is the best part, and this is the kind of stuff that we run into as RGX mentors all the time. Rion was able to make more money in 6 months than he did in 35 years as a head golf professional, in 6 months of coaching. And this is another example of a success story. You're not going to find professional jealousy in this group, in this community, because there's enough to go around. And you're going to be able to be successful wherever you are. You're going to be able to bloom wherever you're planted. Rion started this Breaking Bad coaching program. Breaking Bad Golf is in, kind of the Breaking Bad, the TV series. And his players just loved it. They were seeing results. They were getting to spend more time with him, and he was getting to spend more time with them. It was a win-win-win all across the board. The key lesson here is the importance of results-based group coaching. When you get results for your players, you build a community. You're not only guaranteeing results for your players, but they're seeing those results. It takes the pressure and the risk off of them when they see that you're willing to guarantee the results, that you actually care about how they're going to do. You have some skin in the game because you're guaranteeing results, or at the end of the day, you're going to coach them for free. But that doesn't really happen. So that's really cool. So Courtney, if we can go to the next slide. So this is really the most important thing, right? If you're going to be a results-based group coach, you're going to guarantee results for your players. Well, here at RGX, we're all about guaranteeing results as well. And we're going to guarantee that you're going to make 3 times your return on investment of $2,500. So $7,500, 3 times $2,500 in 90 days or less. A lot of our coaches, because this is a 12-week program, a lot of our coaches, what we find is it doesn't take them 90 days to get 3 times an ROI. It's really, really powerful stuff. And RGX is going to guarantee that the value to your business will be at least 3 times your initial investment. And all you have to do is 3 simple things. Attend the weekly calls or watch the recordings. We have coaches who are very successful. They're not able to attend the 8 o'clock, weekly live calls on Mondays beginning July 25th, but they go back and watch the recordings and they kind of go at their own pace and they achieve their success. We had one coach who did it in 6 weeks, didn't attend a single live call. She knew she couldn't. You post your homework to the RGX community page. So mentors like me and Jared can look at what you're posting and give you some real-time feedback. Your colleagues can give you feedback. We can see how you're doing. We can ask you questions. We can hold you accountable. And then probably most importantly, you need to be open to changing your mindset, which is exactly what you're going to be asking your players to do when they buy into this idea of on-course, results-based group coaching. It makes so much sense. It's a home run, and you can change your life and transform your career in 90 days or less. Jared?
No, that is awesome. Like I said, I mean, that gets you guys all a little insight on what we do, how we do it, some of the success that we've had. And so if you guys are interested in hopping on a call and joining us with, you know, our June or July, it's July now, July 25th, here in a couple of weeks, definitely just scan this QR code. We'll ask you a couple questions to get to know you a little bit better, and we'll hop on a call with you and kind of talk you through it and go from there. But now I kind of want to ask, again, one of the members in your area, Blake, who has gone through this. And so just be open and honest with us, Blake. What were some of your hesitations on, you know, not starting with RGX, or how you got started with RGX?
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it took a while to, I mean, I had conversations with Will for quite a bit of time, and it was the investment part of it that I was concerned about, which I know that there may be some hesitations in this room, or people that are watching this video, was always like, if I pay this much money, am I actually going to get one better as a coach, better as a person, whatever it may be. So kind of that was a hesitation, and for me, like jumping kind of all in, and like, you know what, I have to change something. Like, I've started a new country club. I've been there for about a year now, and I like some of the people I'm coaching. I don't like some of the people I'm coaching. I needed something that was a little bit different, and something that kind of made me a better coach. And so I feel like going through the 12-week program was a lot better for me, just to be a better coach and to get better results for my clients, but also like learn who I am as a person, and learn how to be a better business person as well. So the $2,500 was almost nothing when it's all said and done, because of the return on your investment, because it does guarantee the results. You do see a difference in your life, and how you shape the way you think, and shape the way that it's just like when you teach a person how to score better on the golf course. It's that accountability that you bring onto that student, and you work as a team together to get better results, just like how this program does. We talk a lot about just like the coaches coaching other coaches, and myself being a PJ member, and Dan, Jared, like everyone's a PJ member in this program, and we want to support each other. And this is probably the only program that really gets you to get better results, whether time, money. For me, it was a lot of time, and a lot of I have 2 little girls, so that was a huge importance for me, to gain more time, and to make the financial stability to support my family of 4 here. And so, like, I have a TrackMan, I have the video stuff. Do I see the return on purchasing a TrackMan at $25,000? Sure, it's cool, and it's really cool looking. It gets me some skilled results, but like, it doesn't get my players and myself that financial return that I need to live a sustainable life. I've been that road where I've worked 60, 80 hours a week when I was in my young 20s, and I've worked my tail off, and I know that everyone else in this group has worked their tail off. It's a matter of now taking ownership of yourself, taking that time just to kind of, if I were to do this all over again, like just to dive in, and like, even though everyone's so busy right now with COVID, and with the COVID boom going on, and there's so many golfers, so many lessons, so many rounds of golf, whether you're a director of golf, general manager, head pro, director of instruction, I think this is like the ultimate time to be kind of transforming who you are as a coach and as a person. So yeah,
I love it, Blake. No, that is awesome. And again, you guys are kind of getting to know Blake, if you already don't, and some of the reasons why, you know, he got to that level of pain and was just like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And, you know, saw some amazing results. So Blake, if you were to look back now at your RGX experience, now that you've gone through it and you see some of these amazing results, what piece of advice would you give yourself if you were just now starting your journey?
Yeah, I think it's just like your players, and when you're trying to get your players to buy in, they need to have that open mind to transforming themselves. So I feel like I had that mindset going into it, but it's like almost like diving even deeper into that like growth mindset and getting like really clear on who I am as a teacher, as a coach, as a person, as a dad. And I mean, that's kind of going into that part of the journey. Like I would love to just see that how I was back in last year and kind of like look back and like, dang, this is what a transformation it's been just as a, I mean, I've saved about 5 to 10 hours a week. I will move from 5 days a week to down to 4 days a week of teaching recently, and making the same amount of revenue that I've made in my previous years. And I've made more money than I could ever imagine with kind of transforming all of my groups, all of my individual lessons into group coaching and getting on the golf course more. And we were going through the numbers actually. And for directors of golf and head pros and general managers, for the people that I coach and I take care of, the revenue that comes in is over $1 million for the club. It's literally $1 million that my clients bring to the club, whether it's with dues, with guests, with food and beverage, with purchasing clubs. And so it's a great way to bring more value to your facility as well.
And show a lasting impact. That is great stuff, Blake. Again, thanks for your open and honest answers there. So now I think we've gotten to the point where we want to hear from you guys. So what questions might you have for us? Anyone want to unmute themselves? I know Blake might know a couple of you. So Blake, if no one wants to ask any questions, I'll let you pick on a few people. But does anyone have any questions for myself, Blake, Dan, or anybody? Give you a few seconds, and then Blake, I'll let you go through and pick somebody and see.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to know like who is like on the fence right now of jumping in, like, because I've been there, I've been this place, I've been in the crossroads before. Like, I guess, is there anybody on this call that's like, I'm in, but I don't know? What's that hesitation that you may be feeling right now?
To overcome some objections, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Matt Rogers or James.
You know what else too, Blake, I'm reminded of, and we're going to be kind of on the heels of this town hall today. Tomorrow, we're going to be reviewing your RGX Coach Spotlight. And one of the things that was really, and that's tomorrow morning at right around the same time, 9 o'clock Pacific. But one of the things that I remember from that spotlight was how important it was for you to figure out your why and why it was that you were doing what you were doing, what was really important in your life. And for you, it was your young family. It was, I can't do this anymore. I can't work this many hours anymore. I don't want to miss my girls growing up. Would you mind going into a little bit of detail, just real quick, while we're waiting for some questions to come in? What was your why? What did it finally come down to? What got you over the hump? What got you to pull the trigger?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, and I think that I know some people on this call that might experience this, is like whether you have young kids or starting to have young kids. And I know that people that are part of the pilot program already have young children. And I mean, I've seen it time and time again with professionals that have been kind of working so hard to basically help their family out, support their family. And it almost leads into other things that happen, whether it's, I mean, that whole article at the Gulf Road crisis of divorce happening and relationships deteriorating and time away from family, missing out on sporting events, all these things that I knew that I wasn't going to be that person. And I didn't want to. I want to have a great marriage. I want to have a great life with my kids. I want to see these my kids grow up, and I don't want to feel like I'm missing out on it. So my why was just being able to be the best father I could possibly be, support my family, and be able to be around them as much as I can. I still love, I love to work. I love to coach. I love to be out there. I still work about 45, 50 hours a week. It's not like I'm only working 10 hours a week, or I'm lazy by any means. We still have a good work ethic, but it's the financial stability now that I'm able to support my family. I'm able to spend more time with my family, my kids, and watch them grow up. And I get to take my oldest to a little gym class next week on a Thursday morning, middle of the day. I mean, how cool is that, to middle of the week and not have to worry about anything else at the facility?
Yeah, and I think, Blake, you've hit, home on a few points, and some of you might not be in some, situations where you guys are completely burnt out, or the pain isn't at a max, or again, your wife isn't getting ready to divorce you, but you're kind of like, things are okay, I'm all right. Well, what we're just kind of advising, and what Blake is saying there too, is, it could be better. It could be better. You don't have to get to a point of pain, a point of burnout before you make a change, right? And so I think that, if you guys are interested, again, we are here to help you in any way that we possibly can. Even if it, you want to just learn some more information, ask us a few questions one-on-one. Definitely, again, scan the QR code, get a few questions answered, and then we can hop on a call with you guys and kind of talk you through what a journey might look like, and kind of answer some of those questions. Dan, do you have any other questions to throw out to the group? Does the group, we're hearing crickets. Any questions that you guys have for us? I mean, you guys all got on, hopefully got to know us a little bit more.
I would say, Jared, I just had one more thing to add. And, I've always been kind of a Nike guy. I'm a big fan of the swoosh, and obviously their tagline is just do it. And that's what I'm going to tell you today. I'm going to tell you to just do it. Take the steps to transform your career. When you look back on this, you will not regret it. The guarantee is there. We're going to guarantee that you're going to achieve 3 times your ROI in 90 days or less. You have nothing to lose. And I only say this because RGX, results-based group coaching, has completely changed my life. It'll change yours too. It sounds too good to be true, but it just keeps working. And there is one success story after another. This just works. So take action. Take action to change your life. It's a lot easier than you think, and the results are guaranteed. What do you have to lose?